The market is pricing in a massive $16 move for Palantir. That's starting tomorrow. I'm not guessing. The options market is telling us exactly where the risk is. So, welcome to the Sunday Stock Talk. I'm breaking down all the critical levels. The few that I do want to cover. Right, so we have Palantir. We have earnings tomorrow. Meta with after their phenomenal earnings last week. I also want to cover silver after that complete meltdown they had. The S&P futures already gapped down, but they gapped into a zone and bouncing. We are going to show over that. So we have the expected moves. Actually, we have them for over like 30 tickers. If you need, you got to see them before they open. If you're trading Palantir earnings after the bell tomorrow, or watching Meta, it's at 7:16 tonight. Tonight's the game plan. So we're gonna just jump in. I'm gonna talk about just kind of my opinion, and then we'll rock and roll. First and foremost, looking at the futures right now. So here's the overall futures. So this is a daily chart. So we closed right here, gapped all the way down to this type 2, and found some buyers. So we're just bouncing. And we've tested this quite a bit. So when we jump into the 4-hour zone, not the best look. Daily doesn't look that bad. Kind of looks like we're just testing out. Found some buyers. So we just went kind of zone to zone, zone to zone, all the way back down to that zone. We did not quite make it. Sold back off, and then we opened up. We tried to bounce, and then we gapped down. So we were just knocking on this door, and I don't know how much you can trust, how much longer this can hold. It's a zone until not. So until that does break, that's just kind of where we're at. Hopefully I didn't just mute myself. All right. Looking at the expected move right now for the S&P. I would say right now it's an $11.96 move. We tagged all-time highs last week. I don't know. I think correct me if I'm wrong, at the time of going live, I think the government is still shut down. I don't know how much of a thing that is going to be for now. Last time it was a record long shutdown. I don't know. I think that's getting more into the noise than it is the charts right now. I just kind of want to focus on the money overall and kind of where things are. The fact that we gapped down, we did this even last week. We gapped down, thought we were going to really do things, and then the buyers just showed up. So at that point, there was just nothing left. Nothing left of that story, right? We went to all-time highs. Looking at the NASDAQ, last week was a big week for the NASDAQ. With Microsoft and Meta earnings. Meta absolutely killed it. Microsoft kind of, I can't say kind of didn't, just kind of let down the AI sector. And then the NASDAQ, again, to bounce out of that zone. This is about where we saw the S&P going zone to zone, where this one only just made it to that next like speed bump zone. Tested that, and honestly, this is kind of what the S&P started to look like, kind of more right here. How we just keep testing that. If you keep kicking on a door, eventually that thing's coming open. Now, the NASDAQ did gap down into that zone, sold off. Currently, right now, we did have some buyers. So, depending on how a lot can happen between now and the morning, it's very interesting the past few times, because a lot of times you can almost get a feel for what the market's doing, where the buyers are, where the sellers are. When we have these gaps, that just tells me that the volume isn't there, or there's a lot of volume there, and they're trying to just push it one way. This is certainly a time where I would just let the banks get their coffee first. There's no rush to trading Monday morning at all. So looking at these are the big two overall, and I use these while I do trade the ES. So this is the S&P futures. I trade the NASDAQ futures. I trade SPY options, QQQ options. It's rare, but I sell options on the futures market. So I trade both of these, but overall I do use them as an indicator itself. If there's a green candle, buyers are here. Red candle, sellers are here, and just kind of where's that? Because it'll have its kind of own gravity, its own pull. So that's why I try to keep a pulse on this. I hope I gave you the numbers. Now, the S&P, again, $11.96 for the expected move. The NASDAQ, $15. So we have these lines here. If you guys do have my charts, if you don't, it's always in the description down below. If you just want the charts and what I buy and sell, that's the Patreon link. Of course, there's more, but that's when you get into the school realm. You'll see my admin Casey jumping in here in the live stream. She posts those links all the time. But again, going with the school, that's the course, that's the chat, that's me going live at night. So you see me a lot more than just Sunday and Wednesday. Uh, man, I gotta say, I'd love to come on here and kind of give you my direction of where I'm going for things. I had QQQ puts. I sold those Friday. Yeah, I made a profit there. With the way we gapped down and instantly bought it back up, I I don't know if there is a play for me. I think at that point it's time to chill. If they don't know what's going on, then how am I supposed to know what's going on? You know, and again, with higher volatility, that means wider stops. You'll definitely need that this week. If anything, if you're even within the realm, it's not going to take me buying the order flow to know that your stop's probably right below, and I can run a stop as a market mover, as any kind of participant with money. Trigger all that, get it nice and low, and then buy the dip, send it right back up. So by the time you tag out and FOMO back in, I'm already up on my position. So I've gone over those two, and typically I jump into the Dow real quick. Dow's been largely sideways, other than this like peak down below here, and we just got below, and Dow already gapped down, but it's already recovered it and then some. Still looking a little bit weak. Overall, the bulls could argue that's a higher low. I mean, there's no argument there. It is, but it probably needs to get above here. If you don't get above this point right now, could be a higher low. Technically isn't until we start to actually push up and kind of confirm it. Without that, the trend is actually still more immediately down. I will say the expected move for that. So we got 480 to 497. Russell's going to be nothing to really talk about other than, so it gapped down to that type 2, also bounced out of that zone as well. Last week we talked about Head and Shoulders. I think that might be the 5th time I've ever talked about a Head and Shoulders on the channel. But every time I have, it actually has played out. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because out of all the patterns and shapes that you guys think the market actually runs on, it doesn't at all. But I will say the amount of people that will draw like some little curve lines, like right here, here, and here, and call this a Head and Shoulders, blows me away. I don't know what beer goggles and alcohol they had to drink beforehand to even have that conversation. So if I'm ever talking about a pattern, it's because without you having my charts, I can call it out and you should be able to find it. And that's about the accuracy of that. They are slim to none. Grab some Bitcoin at the type 2. I am buying Bitcoin. Obviously I bought some last week. I am buying more this week. And silver. IWM expected move, so we got 258 to 271. Let's jump into Palantir, because Palantir has earnings this week. In fact, this week it is tomorrow after hours. So you have one day to get it in gear. That's it. Your expected move for Palantir, what we have? 1596. Yes, a $16 move. Okay, so if we were to get, so we have a lot of this pricing. This is what market makers have priced in. So if you want to like a bull case, a breakout target, it's gonna be this 162 area right up here. It's like if we put it dead on the line, it's like 162.50, 55. I think is the actual number. Now we could surprise out of there, but what this is likely telling you is that if it stays inside here, a lot of those options contracts are actually going to be down. If you bought calls and puts for earnings and we stay inside this level right here, which as the numbers games, if we're playing the numbers game, more than likely will, and that's what's going to attribute to that Vega crush. You getting absolutely smoked because you bought a call, the stock went up, and you're still down. It's because you just don't know what options are. And I don't say it to be mean. That's the name of the game. That's why most of them expire worthless, and why as an options trader, you will lose a lot more. And I haven't said this in a while, but if you guys suck at trading shares, you're going to suck 100 times more if you go jumping into buying calls and puts. It's just going to be that much faster. Quite literally 100 times more. So the bear case, you want to call it that, it's going to put it right at this 130 level. So it's going to be right in between these two zones. We're smack dab in between these. So we know we have sellers here, buyers here, and then speed bump zones. If we do break this, now, if Palantir comes out and surprises or to the upside or the downside, we'll likely hit this next yellow zone or this one up here. And that's what you would need. If you bought calls, you need them to surprise. You would probably need to exceed this to outweigh any Vega or Theta. And then same with to the downside. Personally, I haven't done this in a while. It's a gamble. all earnings plays are a gamble. It's a roulette trade. You're gonna put your chips on the red or black. In this case, it's gonna be red or green. Candle wise, that's what's gonna happen, right? I really wish the roulette table would just change to red and green, and then like occasionally there's the black, like zero could be black. Because at that point, I guess it could go sideways. Very small chance to go sideways, like a roulette. Small chance it lands on 0, double 0. More than likely, it's going to be red or black on the roulette table. So here we're going to see some green candles or red candles. That being said, your allocation should reflect that. There's no two ways about it. Tomorrow, if I'm wrong, I think I'm going to buy calls. I saw some flow for calls. If the market's gapped down, but we're buying it back up, if we're going to continue that, I like it. I like going to the long side. There's a statistic out there. I think it's like 86% of the time, the earnings play is going to go just the direction of the market. So if the bulls are there, we just don't do bad at earnings. I think we'll be good. To be more theta and vega neutral, I might just go a call spread. I might buy a call in the morning. If it pops up, turn it into a spread. I don't want to tie up capital with shares. I do want to play this, so I know it's going to be of the call type. If it's bearish, I'm probably not going to do anything. I won't buy puts. I probably won't sell puts. I'm not going to be selling any calls. So my play will just be calls. Lori says, I love selling options. Oh, yeah. As an option seller, something we do a lot, especially in the group, absolutely love the fact that people have no idea what they're doing. And I don't say it to be mean, but that's where the new money comes in. Like there's got to be a loser out there somewhere. And that's what funds our accounts, are the gamblers. And I hate saying like, hey, I made money off you being stupid. But if you're out there clicking buttons and you don't know what you're doing, that's essentially what you're doing, by the way. When you download the app on your phone and just start clicking things, and you're surprised when you lost money, at that point, there should be no feelings involved in that. It doesn't matter who you gave it to. You gave that money away for sure. I sell options and still don't know what I'm doing. All right, so I definitely wanted to call this out because I've been seeing. I saw a little bit of bullish flow. It's been a while since I've actually taken an earnings play. There just wasn't really a setup there. I like the fact that this really sold off. So kind of gives me a dip buy. I feel better. I'm a knife catcher at heart. Right now, the trend is down. Markets are kind of shaky. Like as far as the not the economics. What's the word I'm looking for? Geopolitical, macro environment. As far as things go, there's some writing on the wall, and it's not the pretty rainbow colors. It is a little bit darker picture. So there's a lot of things that say this could probably continue to go down. Again, I'm going to throw my money on green, see what happens. I hate to say anything else. As far as we'll probably cover these tomorrow. Let's see. Earnings were estimating a 23 cents per share and 1.34 billion. Let's move on because Meta had quite the move. And if you guys have been following me for any amount of time, you know Meta's my number one position. Outside of a couple times, Tesla sometimes gets some real high volatility and can just run up. And outside of a couple times that's flirted with it, it's taken the number one spot just from that alone. Outside of that, Meta's been my number one for a while. This has, I think, a $25 expected move, so you should see it, $6.90 to $7.42. So we saw last week earnings absolutely crushed it. Everybody loved it. A lot of people with the AI they're still spending, but it's not doing anything. Meta's actually just implementing it. They're selling more ads. They're doing more things. So they have the money to fund the things. It's kind of the gist that I'm coming up with as to why people weren't really impressed with last week's earnings in the AI. And I'm dumbing that so far down. Don't take that with a grain of salt. More importantly, more people just bought it. More people bought it. That, for the bears, is a dead cat bounce. This right here looks like a zone play. If the futures are going to kind of drive that order flow and be bullish, I think Meta will be as well. I hate to say it's got some catching up to do, but all-time highs is actually not that far. We made quite the move last week. We went from, a couple weeks now, from 600 all the way. So even with the pullback, we're still up $114 in a couple weeks worth of trading sessions. Shout out to MetU, that is the leverage ETF. Shout out to anybody that had sold puts on this. Absolutely sending it. I gotta say, I think I'm long. I would like to see now. Meta is. I think the movement for Meta is. I don't want to say done. Meta doesn't usually absolutely send it like this. In fact, while it is my number one position, it's kind of a boring ticker. I mean, Meta and Nvidia, they don't really they have their moments, but outside of those moments, you tie up some more with Meta. You tie up a lot of capital to sell some options on there, and you could there's a trade off, right? Because you could get into something a little more volatile and pay a little bit more. But I think this one's absolutely amazing. I've never once thought I'm going to sell puts on Meta, and I hope I don't get assigned. Literally not ever once. I don't care. But I got to say, it's a lot for someone to start selling cash secured puts on. You need, what, 70 grand just to sell a single put? Matt says 750 plus, please. Now, one standard deviation, this is why I said all that. One standard deviation puts you at 742. And we might start getting back into that realm where it starts to just have a $25 per share move a week. Sounds big, but it's on a $700 ticker, so we're kind of just back into that realm. While I think 750 would be nice, I think we might need a little nudge for that, to be honest. Let's check out just same sector. Let's just check out Microsoft real quick. Microsoft getting absolutely beat down. That was the expected move for last week. These are the lines that I'm moving. Now look where we're at. So expect to move right at that zone. So it looks like we're playing right here. So we're bullish above this zone right here, bearish below here. Told you guys last week I am buying Microsoft. I have zero problems buying Microsoft, in case anyone is confused. If I never have a zone, if I don't have a zone filled in, just know that it's yellow. These are my notes. Colors do mean something. Yellow is just daily, 4-hour time frame. Blue is hourly. That pink color you saw is weekly. And I've never once ever drawn out a zone and thought, I'll remember that's a weekly later. I'll remember that's a zone. The only reason I put a yellow zone in there is because your brain recognizes the color yellow first, and I thought, if people are going to be following me, I better make it easy. Because from my experience, I've talked to a lot of people that just need a little extra help, I can't even say they're the brightest color crayon, sharpest tool in the shed. They're not even in the shed, So I gotta put as many buffers as I can out there. I already bought more Microsoft. This week, I will say, if it sells off anymore, maybe I don't think they're going to pay anything. If it sells off more right now, I'll sell some 400 puts. Between me and my group, this what I can tell you right now on Sundays, if it sells off and the 400 puts are paying something, I am going to sell those. What might change throughout the day is maybe there's a little bit of sell-off. Maybe I have reason to maybe get a little more bullish. I might sell the 415 puts for this Friday. I just want to take a peek at Google before we jump into silver real quick. All right, as far as Google goes, man, that'd be good for the NASDAQ. I think that, I say, hey, we're pricing in earnings this week with that one. Okay, so earnings are Wednesday for Google. Quite the expected move as well. So 316 to 360. Now that will move. Now that's going to be interesting. With the being in the ad space, a lot of times Meta will make a move, Google will follow. Whichever one comes out first. Usually used to be Snap. Snapchat would come out with earnings first, and just being in that area. Snapchat would announce how good they did, and you'd watch Meta and Google absolutely just copy. We didn't see that here. So is every man for themselves? Is Google going to take more of a Microsoft approach or a Meta approach? And with the weight that holds, I would say that's going to affect the NASDAQ. So pretty awesome week this week. I know I made a Palantir thumbnail. We'll have to follow up on Google. Now, I do go live Sundays and Wednesdays, so we'll be able to follow up on that, because that should be Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday the 4th. Heck yeah. Ooh, yeah. I like Google, and if you were following me, then I bought a lot right inside here. I was selling 150 puts. I said it's time to buy Google. Over here, I said, if you're going to buy Leaps, it's time to buy Google now. It's looking bullish. Had you listened to any one of those, you doubled your money, almost doubled your money. You made a lot more than the S&P's 8% a year. I'll put it that way. In fact, if you followed all my videos, you just would be up. I like to trade cold and boil. Yeah, for gas. All right, let's jump into silver before I get out of here, because silver, the metals, a lot of people are complaining. Man, so silver gaps down, hits that zone, bounce right now. Now, a lot of people are complaining because this meltdown, they're calling out manipulation because JP Morgan happened to go short at the peak. And now fact check me on this, but from the sounds of it, they already closed their short position. Closed it. So they went short, rocked that thing down, and closed. So they made a good trade, and now everyone's upset because they probably bought somewhere up here. Now, that being said, I don't think the silver thing is over. I don't think the metals thing is over. And when I do see manipulation, there's a reason why a big bank will manipulate something. Now, their trade, if they went short, they're already out. That's why. There it is. It's done. They don't usually run stop hunts or do stuff like that without a bigger picture in mind. Like, there's a reason they're jacking with that ticker. It's not because they just wanted to screw some people over. They want that. They're going to run a stop hunt. It's not to get you to stop out and buy for a meaningless $1 share cheaper just to run that up $1 and take their profits. It's probably because they think more like 20's coming, and that's how they ninja snipe and get their best entry. Jimmy says they subscribe to the charts. They do. They know where the zones are. Close to the Don Bron zone. Yeah. CME also raised collateral gain. Okay. I hope we get a 4 to 5x with IBIT June calls when Bitcoin hits all-time highs. Hey, me too. Like I said, I'm buying the dip. I go for my buy it every week, but when I do see the red candles like this, that's when I start to really lay into it. So if we're right, we'll have a video later of me talking about how right I was and how much more money I made. People don't usually care about that at the time. They only care about, like right now, no one cares about silver unless they bought up here and they're like, what should I do? But if I told everyone to buy silver right now, they're like, oh, heck no, that's a waterfall. That's a pump and dump. And then when it gets back up here and you're talking about how you caught the knife, you bought it, you front run the risk because there was not a reversal yet. It's very much a knife catch. Then they're saying, yeah, hindsight's 20/20. Bet you did. Anyway, that's what I love the most. That being said, it's selling off like this. I think the volatility might just be getting started. China does a majority of the silver. When it comes to gold in general, there's a lot of they want the gold-backed currency again, and you need the physical gold. You need to have silver. Silver's in the EVs, the solar panels. Gold's the best conductor. There's a lot of physical uses for it outside of we need to have it in our bank and play. Who is it? You want to play pirates with the little pirates chest in there. I was gonna come up with a pirate name, but I don't have one. Jack Sparrow. Yeah, you want to play Jack Sparrow at the bank and have a little pirate chest full of gold. Many uses for it. So to see it move like this, absolutely insane. This is not a pump and dump ticker. This isn't some crap Wall Street bets can post about and think they found something out. Wall Street bets could put all their little pebbles in a bag and still not make gold or silver. Remember that one time they thought they moved silver? That was hilarious. Now JP Morgan gets in and says, this is how it's done. Little kids, step aside or get underneath it. We're going to step on you. I don't care. Absolutely insane. I think right now what we're looking at, especially with silver, now I'm buying silver and gold. Both. Cody, my admin, he's bringing up copper, and I promise you I'm going to buy copper eventually. That's the third place one, but right now I really want to grab silver and gold for all the other reasons. Defensives, the storage, the it being backed, everything I just touched on, and then some. I do want to grab more. Right now, I think those have more use case than copper does. So copper is there. It's just it's on the back burner. It's going to wait its place in line. If I had to put copper on the list, gold and silver are place 1, 2, 3, 4. and then copper's 5. So I got to go through all those and then get to the 5th place to buy copper. Let's see. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Yukon Cornelius, silver and gold. What? Crackheads love copper. They do. I made a comment on somebody mining copper, and all of a sudden, this was weeks ago. They're pulling copper out of the ground. I said, hey, there's a free way for crackheads to get copper. And weeks ago, and now all of a sudden, I just keep getting a bunch of apparently the algorithms are starting to push that comment out. So love the notifications. Okay, let's do a quick so thanks Monsoon. We closed the NQ futures gap and MES banging. Yeah, so when we covered it earlier, the Dow had already done that. Looks like we just officially did that with the NASDAQ and the S&P. I don't know what to make of it because this is the second time now in a row we've done this where we gap this thing down. And I don't know if that's – now when I see this a lot, when they gap it down and then just buy it right back up, it tells me they wanted to buy it up. And are we just incredibly bullish? Is all this bearish talk just to create that entry? Yeah, I don't know. Let me give you guys a couple minutes to break something down. I do have to get going with my group. Again, if you do join the group, that's on the schooling, right? Not Patreon where you just get what I buy and sell and you get all my charts. But I go live. We do a Zoom session Sunday and Thursday. So I gotta go into them. But I gotta say, Tesla still. I don't care that it broke this trend line. It's not the strongest look, but I am going to delete this trend line right now because I'm tired of it being there. Trend lines, what do they represent? An overall trend. So we're talking about higher lows. Here is probably your last higher low. Now we are starting to argue that we're going sideways, but if we really look at Tesla from the top-down view, we've been sideways for a while. That's why I'm not too terribly worried about the trend line breaking. And if it's not a 4x play, you're probably not going to see me take a short play on a trend line just because it did break. But look at the market overall and then look at Tesla. What's going on here? Who's holding what up? Now, I know we talked about the maybe a possible merger with XAI and not Starlink, SpaceX could be a thing. I mean, I think they just need. I think XAI just needs funding, so I'm sure that'll likely happen. Tesla's going to invest a couple billion in there. We'll see. A lot of people talking about, do the Tesla investors flood out once SpaceX is available? And I don't know. I don't think that is. You should brighten up that 434, 432 zone. Your little $1 zone right here. Now, if you do see my charts, this is for the first time ever. This is Matt, the admin you see here. Matt 808. He said, "What about this zone?" And it did bounce. I could not put it there, but that is his. So that's why it's a one-off. It's not usually in my area. First time commenting. Okay. What's up, man? I've day traded and swing traded like a champ this year. Like this 2026 or I guess we're a month in. That's good. Congrats. But I entered Palantir, Silver, and IBIT on Thursday and Friday as savings. Man, I gotta say, I have more Bitcoin than I do IBIT for sure. Palantir, I'm buying all three of those. Let's talk about IBIT real quick because I am buying Bitcoin. This is an ETF that just tracks Bitcoin. Now, for some reason, if you don't have access to crypto, maybe it's in an IRA or something like that just has rules. This is something you probably can buy. So again, it's going to just track Bitcoin, one-for-one movement. The cool thing is it does have a pretty liquid options chain, which is the only reason I'm buying this. Again, I'm buying Bitcoin. I have a certain amount of coins that I do want to have that I am going to hold. So we'll see. I've been talking about that for years. I do want 20 coins, and then I'm just gonna hang tight. And please don't go to zero. Please. I won't be on YouTube anymore if it goes to zero. Bitcoin is not my religion. Neither is crypto. And I've had enough of those conversations. But if crypto does go to zero, I'm quitting. I'll quit everything. Oh, that would suck so bad. Now, this having an options chain makes it pretty enticing because as an option seller, I do like to have my own dividends, create my own dividends by selling puts to enter, sell calls against the shares. I've done a lot lately with Bitcoin as far as now that Bitcoin futures are a thing. Um, not selling, going short futures, continuing to buy the coin, so kind of hedging. I'm gonna get into the options with IBIT, but speaking of futures. Bitcoin futures. Here's another ETF. Now this is a Bitcoin futures ETF. Ex dividend dates tomorrow. So anything you own on Friday, is it saying it what it is yet? Amount 1 penny. Everyone's leaving if it's 1 penny. Is that real? No way that's real. Last dividend was 74 cents, 77 cents. The dividend before 83 cents, 75 cents. 86 cents. This is a monthly dividend payer. Here's $1.20. So I've absolutely killed as far as collecting dividends on this. Now I am going to buy this with the intention of buying it, and all it needs to do is pay more in dividends before it gets delisted. Now, a lot of things with popularity, you've seen a lot of these ETFs really pop up. A lot of these monthly payers. There's just a lot, especially with the new options chain. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They don't do it because they want you guys to have fun. There is a reason why, and someone's getting money off of it. So right now, hopefully this, I say all that because there is a risk to buying new stuff. It's not the Dividend King, the wrist scrap. All right, it hasn't been here for 25 years. It hasn't consistently paid. It doesn't have the test of time. So you're really kind of just risking your money when it comes to it. Now, I know this chart doesn't look good, but if you adjust for the dividends, what is this? Get this out of here. So a dividend adjusted, if you've been in this for a while, that's what it looks like, assuming you have that's kind of where your money's looking like. The IBIT. Vanguard will not let you buy IBIT or any leveraged ETF or short ETF. They suck. Glad 95% of my money is not in there. Vanguard, so IBIT's not a leveraged ETF. They won't let you buy just a regular crypto ETF. It's literally a Bitcoin ETF, 1-to-1, no leverage. I will say, I like TradeStation. I like Robinhood and E-Trade. If there was ever one that just didn't have the tools that I want, I would leave them that second. Period. There's no chance I would have a Vanguard anything. Vanguard's like that company you don't care about that has like a 401k that you had $12 in it, but when you're 60, turn into 100. I would never use no IBIT. That'd be the reason I would leave right now. If I wanted to buy it, I would have zero. There's no reason to have any kind of loyalty. They will never know your name. You don't have enough capital. No, I'd be gone. Grabbing SLV in 15 minutes. Am I? I don't know. You talk about on Robinhood? Yeah, Robinhood will open up for the 24-hour market here at 8 minutes as time of recording this. Really hoping that Beto is a trampoline. Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap it up here. There's currently 70 of you. Let me just encourage you guys. Check out the Patreon link if you just want my charts. You'll have all these lines, but then also I'll post what I buy and sell. And I gotta say, for everyone that is in that right now for this year, since it is a midterm year, I'm expecting chop, few percent up, few percent down. Yeah, I kind of don't care, especially with everything we have going on. Not to get political. Is Trump breaking rules? Is he not? Like, we just went overseas and snatched up a president. Is that the green light? Like some say that's the green light for China to invade Taiwan, for Russia to just go ahead and have Ukraine, and we might as well just grab Greenland while we're at it. I don't care. We got the government shut down. We got Powell leaving. There's a lot of uncertainty happening, not to mention midterm elections. So any kind of volatility right now, what I plan on doing is accumulating a lot. Now, if you do look, I hate to just bring up the seasonality stuff, but if you do look at that midterm years, a lot of them are just kind of negligible. They're just kind of nothing the first half, maybe the first 3 quarters. After the vote, we know who's who. Red or blue, that doesn't matter. Blue sweep does not matter. Typically on midterm years, after that, we start, the uncertainty's gone. We know who's who, and things can rally. I'll put it that way. So I will say, for this first half, this is the first time in years, I think, that I've gone outside of AI and buying P&G, Procter & Gamble, silver, VRT, VST. I want to grab some energy plays. So there's going to be a lot of accumulating on that. So you'll get those alerts as I grab them, but that is my game plan so far. But for that, ladies and gents, I do have to get out of here. I will see you beautiful people, I guess, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday if you're just on YouTube. If you're in the group, in a few minutes. Have a good one.